Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and let me tell you this, get serious here for a second. If you've never listened to a word that I've ever said, and you don't listen to a word I say now, that's fine. But if you're ever going to listen to anything I say, listen to what I'm about to show you now and what I'm about to tell you now. Because this, of everything that I've done around XRP since 2014-ish, this is my XRP secret weapon. This, above all things, is my secret weapon. This is the ultimate of the ultimate, and what I did, you can do too. This is the story of Peter Thiel and his Roth IRA.
And was later acquired by eBay for $1.5 billion.
They're talking about PayPal being acquired by eBay in 2002-ish.
In the same year. Peter's equity allowed him to bring home $55 million in the transaction, immediately making him a tech millionaire. In retrospect, because Peter's tax information was recently leaked, we know that the majority of his PayPal gains were in his Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is a retirement brokerage account where users pay taxes on their capital before depositing and never have to pay taxes on their capital gains. Using his Roth IRA, Peter purchased 1.7 million shares of PayPal for a tenth of a penny. eBay's acquisition was at roughly $22 per share, so this gave him a 22,000x return. Ultimately, after selling PayPal, Peter's Roth IRA was worth roughly $37 million by my calculations. While impressive already, this is nothing compared to the current value of Peter's Roth IRA of $5 billion.
$5 billion that Peter Thiel, I think he's already passed 59.5, he can now take out of his Roth. I think the number's 59.5. So anyway, here's how it works, kids. It's very simple, and you can talk to. I did mine in 2018 or 19 during the crypto winter with iTrustCapital, who is my partner. What I did is and the way it works is, you know, it's money you've already made and paid taxes on. Then you can contribute. Now I think don't quote me. You're gonna have to ask iTrustCapital. It's up to $7,000. So what I did is I opened a Roth IRA. And I dumped as much money and I bought XRP with all of it. And I bought as much XRP as I could inside of the Roth IRA. This right here is the ultimate XRP secret weapon from a tax perspective. And I stare at that thing. That right there is the gold mine. It's the biggest gold mine around XRP that I could possibly have. And I think it's age 59.5. Now, think about this for a minute. If Dom from EZA is correct, and XRP gets to $1,000 by 2030, I mean, it's game over. It's game over. I mean, because it will sit there. I will not be selling my XRP. Trust me on that. So if you want to, I mean, look, kids, you young people especially, but even older people, if you're eligible for a Roth IRA, go there today. You can go to iTrustCapital.com/XRP Army. You can you just click here on the IRA, or sorry, let me hit the refresh button here. I think you just click on the IRA button and then there's like a link. And then you've got a promo code too you can use. It's at the bottom. You can click that and see that $100 funding bonus. I think that applies to IRAs and their premium custody account. This is... In fact, I was talking to my wife the other day. We've got to open Roth IRAs for our kids and teach them how to invest now, because it solves two problems with a kid. First problem, which is the most important, is they're not going to touch it. They can't touch it. Keeping your hands off an investment over the long term is everything, which is exactly what I've done with XRP. We got down to 294-ish, I think, in the last little bit. So what I did is I went in and made my largest XRP buy in a good while, maybe a year or two, at least a year, probably, because I love these Wall Street trader crypto games, and that's all you're watching right now, and I can prove it Look at this. This is from one of the general counsel over at our buddies at Multicoin Capital. Today is kind of a big day. CBOE just filed for generic listing standards for crypto asset ETPs. NICE and NASDAQ will likely follow suit shortly. First, here's CBOE's filing. The new rule allows an issuer's shares to be listed on an exchange if the underlying commodity on which exposure is given has contract on designated contract market for at least 6 months. In addition, it facilitates possibility of staking or maybe yield. Let's get down here to the fun part. In the meantime, there are a number of pending ETP applications, including Solana and XRP. The SEC could choose to act directly on those ETP 19B4Ss before October 10th Solana deadline and slightly later XRP deadline, or could run out under GLS, and then it goes on down here. The timeline would be slightly later for XRP futures, which launched after SOL futures. Nevertheless, SOL and XRP ETFs appear highly likely to launch by the beginning of Q4. They will include in-kind and likely include staking for SOL. It's coming, folks. They're going to figure out how to get yields on XRP and those things, folks. Just strap in, lock in, whatever you got to do. And then I said here, the Ethereum PR machine's back in full swing with their CNBC friends. They won't be showing you this. This is from Ryan Rasmussen, head of research at Bitwise. He says, wow, XRP trading accounted for more of Coinbase's trading revenue in the year than ETH trading. Last year, XRP wasn't even broken out. And here's the trading right there. Coinbase is well, that's boring. Okay, so the writing's on the wall, folks. Look at this. This is the guy from Pawn Star, Rick Harrison. Rick totally gets the Bitcoin thing.
Bitcoin and crypto, you get into
The Bitcoin problem.
that?
No, because I still think it's fucking Dutch tulips. I mean, what the fuck can you buy with a Bitcoin?
Now anything,
Where can you go and buy it?
anywhere.
No, where can you go buy? Can you go to 7-Eleven and buy a big gulp with a Bitcoin?
Not yet, but pretty soon.
Okay, because like by the time, like if you
And you theoretically could, because you put it on a digital card, and you use your card just like cash, and it just takes your Bitcoin.
well, no, if you go in there with your Bitcoin, okay, if you have it on a card, okay, it's still just going to take best case scenario a half hour for it to go through.
Yeah, he's correct. Well, not best case scenario, but it could take up to an hour for the Bitcoin transaction to go through if there's too much congestion. That's why it never was going to work. Now, what will work is to have things like XRP running in the background and people will never know what they used. That'll work. Or putting Bitcoin on the XRP ledger, that'll work. Here's Paul Atkinson, the SEC chair, talking about crypto self-custody. And I agree, crypto self-custody should always be an option.
The right to have self-custody of one's private property is a core American value. I believe deeply in the right to use a self-custodial digital wallet to maintain personal crypto assets and participate in on-chain activities like staking.
But you have to remember the part that they don't tell you, look, and this is the part that a lot of the self-custody people don't fully get. Look, folks, you can have $100 million on your Ledger Nano S or whatever you've got, but if you want to realize any of it, it's going to have to go through KYC and all this stuff, especially for those kinds of amounts of money. And so ultimately, they promote the Bitcoin, libertarian freedom and all this, anti-government and all that stuff. Well, ultimately, somebody is going to dictate, somebody in the government is going to dictate, and that's just the way the world works. Somebody in the government is going to dictate that money, that flow of money and taxes and all that stuff. You're not escaping anything because it has to be on-ramped into a system that allows them to tax you. And so fantasy land time's over. The government, along with regulations comes the government and taxes. That's the way it is, the way the world works. But we do have to talk about how this SEC chairman, isn't it refreshing to listen to some common sense after living through Gary Gensler, that piece of garbage?
The president said last week that he wants, quote, the entire world running on the backbone of American technology. So I stand ready to help get that job done. That's why I'm launching Project Crypto and directing the SEC's policy divisions to work with the crypto task force led by Commissioner Peirce to swiftly develop proposals to implement the PWG's recommendations. Project Crypto will help ensure that the United States remains the best place in the world to start a business, develop cutting-edge technology, and participate in capital markets. We will reshore the crypto businesses that fled our country, particularly those that were crippled by the previous administration's regulation by enforcement crusade and Operation Checkpoint 2.0. Whether an incumbent or a new entrant, the SEC welcomes all market participants who are hungry to innovate. So in accord with PWG report's recommendations, I've directed the Commission staff to draft clear and simple rules of the road for crypto asset distributions, custody, and trading for public notice and comment. While the Commission staff works to finalize these regulations, the Commission and its staff will, in the coming months, consider using interpretative, exemptive, and other authorities to make sure that archaic rules and regulations do not smother innovation and entrepreneurship in America. Many of the Commission's legacy rules and regulations do not make sense in the 21st century, let alone for on-chain markets.
Man, how refreshing is that? And here's a good little reminder from Riz XRP.
So, people are running into, a brick wall at the SEC. There's the lawsuit against Ripple. A lot of things riding on that. So that's like a really interesting thing to follow in this space.
That's the core.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com, the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click the join button right below this button. If you'd rather join through X, click the subscribe button. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.